Hi. Welcome to America. Jayo. You may or may not know that I have exited China. This is inside of the first and second day I have been in America. Let me tell you a little bit about my impressions. First impressions of a guy that has spent a long time in China during a very unique period in history and is now in America, which has its own set of things. Holy shit, it is wild. It is wild to see. It's like I am in different planets as far as ideologies go. I arrived after a 30-hour plus flight from China. I feel like I'm in a different world. China is, and not even just China, it's like there's a lot of countries in this world that are taking the pandemic, from my first impression so far, in a completely different way. First off, I arrived to the United States in Detroit. I flew from Shanghai to Seoul, from Seoul to Seoul, Korea to Paris, and from Paris to Detroit. I had an 8.5-hour layover in Paris, and that's when I made the video, the last video, and then I had a 2-hour layover in Seoul. I had this test, this COVID test that I translated into English. You had to get a COVID test 72 hours before. And it was unnecessary. Nobody cared. In Paris, before I boarded the flight, I had to sign a document that said I was tested within 3 days, but they didn't see the test. They didn't verify the test. I figured that would be done in the States. Flew, 8 hours or whatever to Detroit, arrived, wore my mask. Everybody was protected. There was some Chinese that were on the flight that were in full hazmat suits. The spit shield guard, the whole nine. Yet nothing. Almost to the extent to where it's like, what are you doing? Why are you wearing that mask? Why are you what? I felt it. I felt it. It almost like you were an oddity. What was perceived as what you needed to do to stay protective of you and the people you love and people who you may never ever come in contact with that might get infected. Here, at least from my honest first impression, was like, okay, but goofball. I came to Detroit, got off the plane. There was no quarantine area that was set up like in China. You'd have people in hazmat suits. All the people in the airport would have hazmat suits for arrivals. Buses to take you to quarantine centers, controls in place, directing you to where to go. A little chaotic, a little fearful, but gave you an air of seriousness, like this is something serious we need to be careful about. What gave you the idea that this thing is so important and important to protect yourself and others? In America, it was, what are you doing? Or it wasn't even anything. I went through customs, and it didn't take long. I was one of the first people off the plane, and I went up to the customs guy. I had my passport in my hand and my COVID test in the other hand. I was ready to show it to him. And didn't even ask. Didn't even ask. Very strange. Like, where are you coming from? China? Well, why are you coming from Paris? Well, it was the only way I could get a ticket. That's weird. What did you do in China? I'm a YouTuber. Oh, that's weird. Welcome home. Gave me my I don't even think he took my passport. I think he took my ticket stub or something. It was so quick, with no worry, no nothing. No concern, not no worry, just no concern. Then I got my bags. I thought, well, there's one more chance as I leave the airport that maybe they just walk right out. I could have had COVID. I could have had Delta, the Delta variant, and I could have walked right into America. Now, there weren't a lot of flights going back and forth. People are restricted from, people are obviously not interested in traveling too much. And so I just walked right in. My brother-in-law was there to pick me up. We drove home. He wanted to give me a hug. And I was wearing a mask, but I was still like this. I was wearing a surgical mask at the time, and he looked at me and he laughed. What are you wearing that thing for? I ain't gonna do nothing for you. I really felt very, very strange.